Hark the bardic paladin, who sings and plays again. He tells the tales of glory and weaves a magic story. He'll join you at your table and ask you to share a fable. Heroes of humble origin, villains who must be fought again. No matter their skill or prowess, the people in life are countless. So we pray you heed our request. Enjoy this tale of sidekicks and side quests.
Episode 167, Danver Stargazer, the Verdan of the Ivories. Welcome to Sidekicks and Side Quests, the Dungeons & Dragons podcast that helps to put humans back into humanity and breathe life into your campaign NPCs with backstory and bravado. That's right, we're building a world, one character at a time. I am your host, Kurt Krenwelge, the Bardic Paladin, and I'll be joining Jeff Stein's table in the Levitating Platter. Hello, and welcome to another month's exciting episode of Sidekicks and Side Quests, the best, unofficial Dungeons & Dragons podcast, in my humbly biased opinion. I've got an awesome guest for you this month, but before we figure out who my mystery contestant is, you know I gotta do it. I gotta leave you in suspense with the ad read. This podcast is brought to you by Plus One EXP and their brand new RPG Zine Club. It's a golden age of indie and small press RPGs. For the last several years, Plus One has made it our mission to help new indie creators and small press imprints get their products onto tables worldwide. Our highest goal is to create more sustainable and equitable pathways to getting games made and played. Now we want to take on our most ambitious project yet with RPG Zine Club. What is RPG Zine Club? It is a monthly membership subscription service featuring fresh zines from emerging and expanding creators across the globe. It's our way of inviting GMs, players, and zine lovers everywhere to invest more intentionally in the creative community. It's crowdsourced support without crowdfunding. Now, what are some of the features you have to look forward to when you join the RPG Zine Club? Well, you've got monthly releases with 2 20 to 44 page saddle stitch zines. Take your pick from story zines, adventure zines, or get both kinds. You can get print and digital or digital only of your favorite titles. Join the Clubhouse Discord. It's a section of our online community for club members to discuss and play new titles. Get the best prices guaranteed. You can select your frequency of how often you'd like titles, and you can get what you want and only get what you want. If you miss a month, there's no worries there. You can add recent titles to your month's order and get an annual surprise each February after your first anniversary. Get access to special content, including interviews, how to play videos, and special content for Zine Club titles. Do you like free pizza? Fill out one of the RPG Zine Club passports and redeem it for free pizza at events. You're going to get to encounter new and known designers. We source the best voices from across the RPG design community. We curate zines based on community interest and feedback to help you discover your new favorite creators. We are DIE focused. Plus One is committed to champion diversity, inclusion, and equity in our projects. Creators with diverse experiences make our community better. Zine Club prioritizes creating equity for all of our creators. And it's more than a purchase. Your subscriptions will let us invest more heavily in our print partners and provide them with potentially life-changing support by consolidating scores or hundreds of purchases as the club grows. So, if you want more details, please be sure to go to the website rpgzine.club, and this all can be found also by going to the website plus1exp.com. On that website, if you're making a purchase for a beard balm, a lip balm, beard RPG, or whatnot, and you're looking for a code to use at checkout, be sure to use the code Randolph, RANDOLPH, and save some coin on your purchase. Again, the website to get the discounts from me and provide a kickback to me to help support the podcast would be plus1exp.com with code Randolph. And be sure to go and check out the brand new rpgzine.club. Okay, and now that ad read is done, I turn the microphone over to my guest and I ask, hello, mystery contestant, would you care to Introduce yourself, tell us who it is that you are, and what is it that you do.
Oh man. Hey, what is up, guys? My name is Jeff. You can find me at Jeff Rogers Gaming on Instagram. Pretty much only Instagram. That's really all I use. And yeah, I am the co-host of the Storycrafters, and I am extremely excited to be on the show tonight. Thank you for having me.
Oh, not a problem. And yeah, so at this point, I've now acquired 3 of the 4 hosts of the Story Crafters podcast on my show. So it's only a matter of time until we get the world's okayest crafter on.
Yes, you just gotta go full Thanos and just Infinity Gauntlet all of us. Like
Well, and
you're
I
so
think when
close.
we just had Charlie on just a couple months ago, he was like, "Oh yeah, we should get all the story crafters on an episode." I was like, "Yeah, do
That
it.
would be
I will
really
have
fun.
all of you on. No problem. We'll just make 4 different NPCs in an episode. It'll be fun. Or you can all work together collectively to form one NPC. Who
One
knows?
mega NPC.
Yeah, could be a deity figure. Who knows?
Can it have 8 arms?
Yeah, it could be like a Power Rangers Megazord.
Yes,
All the
I'm here for
disparate
this.
parts coming together and then making the one mega Zord. Yes.
Yes, I'm here for this. Let's make it happen, Captain.
All right. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit more in your own word? Because if I understand, you're kind of like the instigator behind the one that was like, hey, I know all these people online. We should just do a podcast together with me not necessarily having done a podcast before. So what was the inspiration for starting the Story Crafters and what is it that you do?
Yeah, so I'll get my stuff out of the way because no one wants to hear what I do and stuff like that. I'm a audio engineer by day. I work for a university and I am one of their audio engineers, so I run all of their concerts, studio recordings, things like that. And I also am the dad to an amazing 5-year-old, almost 6-year-old, and that is awesome and probably the thing I'm most proud of in life.
Dad life.
Yeah, dad life. It is awesome. Difficult, but it is well worth it. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me in Virginia Beach area. So grew up like surfing and skateboarding and all that stuff, but lover of fantasy, Lord of the Rings. I remember being one of my first like loves as a kid. So that just kind of stuck with me all throughout the years. I'm a major Star Wars fan. If you do follow my Instagram, you've probably seen a lot of Star Wars minis that I paint. But yeah, so it's just like I've always just loved fantasy themes. Inevitably, Dungeons and Dragons was in my future at some point, and COVID was when it all just kind of fell into place for playing Dungeons and Dragons. But for the story crafters, it was kind of like I had started to take my Instagram a little bit more seriously. I like deleted a lot of my like personal posts and things like that, and kind of just started to make it more of a painting and D&D styled page. This was kind of like at this, if you guys remember, probably about 2 years ago or so, there was like a big up and coming for like new Instagram people, especially in like the D&D world.
Yeah. We had the
Like,
diaspora. And so
yeah.
we were like, well, as far as I've discovered, it's like Instagram seems to be the best place. I mean, I know they're
Hmm.
trying on Blue Sky and maybe some
Yeah.
other places, but it just seems like the most people's rafts and lifeboats have just kind of drifted to Instagram as my read on it.
Yeah, and so like, because I mean, this was back when like Jared, World's Okayest Crafter, only had a couple hundred followers. Nicole, Game Master Mom, only had a couple hundred followers. Charlie, I think, had quite a few at this point already,
Mm-hmm.
but not nearly as big as he was now. And the three of us I just kept recognizing that like the four of us, three being not including me, but like the four of us kept liking each other's stuff and like commenting and things like that. We didn't even know each other. It was just one of those like, fun internet friends that you have, right?
Oh, sure,
And
yeah.
then
How it used to be on the old Twitter.
yeah, how it used to be on the old Twitter before it became a cesspool. But so now I messaged him and I was like, guys, like, I don't know what we should do or anything like that, but this is around Halloween time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to play D&D? And we can just have something fun for our Instagram channels, right? Which then turned into, as we were kind of planning the one shot, I was like, what if we just made a podcast? but it's from the perspective of 4 people that aren't professional GMs except for Charlie, and who try to handle being a parent, working full time, having life, through all sorts of curveballs at you, where you see a lot of D&D podcasts that are like, it's all sunshine and roses and everything is amazing all the time and all we do is play D&D. It's like, that's not realistic. Like, what about the downtime in between D&D where you're just talking to your friends about it? And that's kind of where I wanted the podcast to go, which is kind of why it feels the way that it does. I wanted it to feel like you and I are sitting down at the crafting table together, painting some minis and just talking D&D like a bunch of nerds. And that's really why, like, the podcast, we have a structure to it, but we just kind of let the conversations go some days, and that becomes the episodes. And it's just supposed to feel like it's called the Storycrafters because we craft stories and we get together, like, if you read the descriptions, it's all from the perspective of campfire. So everything is always end of the day. Let's talk about the day. Let's talk what our struggles are, what we think's awesome. And that's what it's supposed to feel like. It's just that homey D&D podcast. Because we're not an actual play. And we want to make that very clear. Like, it's not an actual play. We're just talking like nerds.
And in true D&D like fashion, you guys are transparent as like, hey, so and so got busy, so they're not going to be here this week, or
Yep.
I'm running late. You like pop in as you seem to be the main editor as well. You're like, hey, so this episode's going to start and I'm not here, but I'll pop in like halfway through. Okay, here's the episode.
It's really funny when that happens, actually, because I work a lot of nights too, because like I said, I do like concerts and things like that. And so like I'll get the footage from our StreamYard folders. And so as I'm editing all of our episodes, I'm also listening to it for the first time. So half the time when I'm editing these episodes that I'm not in, I'm just dying because the blooper reels that we have are just hysterical. And like some of these things that like we all say as we're just going, oh my God, it's just so funny. And I'm just really blessed to have such great people to do a podcast with.
It is really cool, and it's quite a blessing to have a good co-host, as I can certainly attest to my good buddy Anson, who's a proud sponsor of this podcast. He and I used to do a podcast together. It's because of him and I doing a podcast together that it even inspired me to be doing this silly thing for now 7 seasons, which is a testament in and of itself.
Dang, 7 seasons.
Yes.
That is
Well, I'm trying to think. What was the joke in the community? It was like 6 seasons,
6 seasons in a movie.
Yep. I'm just waiting on the movie deal.
Oh man, I could see it.
But yeah. So yeah, no. As I kind of joked with Charlie, when I was describing the format of how like a consumer of the podcast, if you will, an audience member, is like, yeah, it is very much that vibe of like, hey, we're all hanging out, we're decompressing, we're talking about life. But you have like a D100 table where like the previous episode you'll roll to figure out what's going to be the topic of the next conversation. And everyone's all sitting down and providing their insights and commentary on whatever the topic is. And then usually someone will do like a deep dive lore exploration on either some facet of like the Forgotten Realms, popular media, or a setting book or something out there. Or sometimes you've had Charlie kind of showcase his upcoming apocalypse in a post-apocalyptic
Adventures,
arcade
yeah.
world. I know
Yeah,
it's a
dude.
tongue twister of a name,
It
but
really
we
is.
just
It's
had Charlie on, and he's got that Kickstarter launching here pretty soon, if it's not already up now. Considering that hopefully by now he's already smashed his goals, or he's about to do it. So good job, Charlie.
Yeah, good job, dude.
Yeah, way to do it. Way to crush it. You just did it. Effortless.
Flawlessly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is that a pretty fair assessment as kind of like the general vibe of the Storycrafters podcast when folks will listen?
Yeah, so while we're not an actual play and while we did want it to feel really homey and everything, it's just kind of baked into me with what I do to kind of market things a little bit to like, hey, this is a really natural way of like how shows flow.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted each section. So we have always have an intro, like you have your intro song, you have your thing, whatever. We do to keep it D&D oriented. I thought it'd be really fun if we rolled initiative to see which order we did our updates with like what we've been up to lately. And then that's also the order of the podcast of we know who's going to talk when. So it's kind of like we're not stepping on each other's toes type thing. But we did want it to be D&D themed still. So rolling initiative felt fun.
Yeah.
For our topics, we have a 100 list PDF that we have that before we even launched the show, we each contributed 25 items of something we wanted to talk about at some point.
Yeah.
And we just threw them all into a blender. And if there were duplicates of stuff, we threw them out and we put new ones in, which guaranteed us at least 100 episodes. So
there you go.
And for the lore, prior to, I'd probably say at this point, we're in April, prior to February, our lore was kind of like all over the place, like just kind of what we wanted to talk about at the time. But this year, all of our lore is going to be, for the most part, me and Jared taking it. And I know at least for the next couple episodes, which by this point you guys will already have, feel free to go back and listen to, is I'm going to be handling, you can listen to 2 of them already, the different classes of D&D and kind of like diving into them a little bit more, what their strengths and weaknesses are, how you can relate to them as a person, to like what you like to play as, and then also like fantasy or video game style people that are similar to that class. And then we'll get into like Baldur's Gate references and things like that. But yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. And Jared has a plan for what he's doing for lore coming up soon. So we're just going to kind of be taking it in almost like, not really seasons, but like there's like segments. So right now we're in the class segment of the lore. And then it's going to flip flop every other episode. So like I'll do something, then Jared will do something. Then I'll do another part, then Jared will do another part. That's partly because it's a lot to do.
Sure.
And so I wanted to make it easy for everybody. The other thing, back to our D100 table, the reason we do it at the end is so that way when you finish the episode, you know what the next main topic is going to be.
Yeah.
So you kind of have an idea of like, oh, if I want to listen to it for one thing, you already know you can tune out for this one or not.
Well, you're already subscribing to the podcast, so you should already know it's popping in the RSS feed, dear listener.
Yeah, dear listener, who I love dearly. But yeah, so we kind of wanted to make it kind of like a palate, wetter for, that was a weird sentence. Just something to whet your appetite for the next episode.
Yeah, a little aperitif.
Yes. To go with the buffet of lore that we just did.
Well, cool. Yeah. So it's been a great listen to. I think what I just recently listened to was the panel episode that you and Charlie did at Berg Quest.
Yeah.
So that was a fun one to listen to. So
yeah, that was a fun time, man. That was the first con I'd ever been to. Well, it was like a small form con, but I mean, for what it was, it's amazing for what it is.
Yeah. Kind of like here in the DFW area, I've been involved now with the Fate Con that's been happening in Arlington. So they've done it now a couple of years. And so come this October, I ought to be there at Fate Con. So you should come sign up and play in a game of D&D that I'm running. Ding.
You should absolutely go do that.
Yeah. Well, perfect. Yeah, that sounds like a great pitch of the Storycrafters podcast. I hope everyone who is new to our show and is here in support of Jeff and his podcast, that you're listening to the Storycrafters and having a great time. And I feel like, this is a pretty dead giveaway, but, do you currently or have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons before?
I have indeed. Only once though. Yeah, only once. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I got started in COVID. Like a lot of people did, I think. That was kind of like a big. Yeah, I never played before then. Well, I guess technically one time I did, because I was always thinking about this. I was like, that question. I was like, no, I did play once before, and it was at my buddy's bachelor party. He wanted to play D&D, and I had
That's
no
what I
idea
did
what
at
we were
my
doing.
bachelor party.
That's awesome. I wish I had known about it when, I was going through that. That'd be awesome. But man, no, my brother did great with mine. But yeah, I got started in COVID. My friend was like, dude, we're bored. Can we get on Zoom? And we got people together. I was like, yeah, sure. I got nothing else to do, And then eventually we started moving out over to his house. And yeah, like during that time, I just got the bug because the DM was like, he was a good DM, like mechanically, but I was like, I think I could make this way more relatable, like as a person to person, like the mechanic. And this is, I mean, the way that I run my games is very much like this now. It's like it's less rules heavy, as more of a, how can we make really awesome moments at the table? Like not because of a mechanical thing, but because of something that's truly a great story.
The rule of cool.
The rule of cool, to some degree. I think I've said that 1,000 times on the show. And yeah, so I got together my brother and a couple friends, and I was like, hey, let's do a one-shot real quick. I just want to see if this is going to be anything. And I consumed probably an unhealthy amount of Critical Role before that session. And so I legitimately just copied what Critical Role did almost. To where it's like, we're going to do theater of the mind until the big fight, and then I'll bring out a physical thing that took me far too long to build for what it was. And yeah, we had a little crossroads, like bandit attack type thing that was just supposed to be a one shot. And then my friend, who I think he played once or twice, he goes and he heals, because I didn't know you could do this, because I'm thinking, oh, the character died, cure wounds won't do anything. But no, he was just really unconscious, and I didn't know the difference at the time. And so he goes over to this NPC and he heals him, and that just kind of broke something in my brain that was like holding me back from understanding what a campaign meant, because I was like, wait, you just changed my ending to this one shot, and now I want Flick to be in another episode. So then I like on the fly, like changed the ending that I had from this like very solidified ending to this very open-ended, like dragon roar, like you see in the distance type thing, which then I ended up keeping 3 of those guys in my campaign for the first one. We're on our 3rd campaign now, but 2 of them are still in the group. But
there you go. That's all it takes is just a one shot during COVID, and now you're a pro. So there you go.
I don't know about all that. Pro BS or maybe, but
well, there's a little bit of a trickery, skullduggery behind the screen. We all have imposter syndrome behind the screen, but then we put on our brave faces of bravado, and they'll never know the difference.
They'll never know that I'm shaking.
Well, with the name of this podcast being Sidekicks and Side Quests, we kind of get into the meat of this personal interview section. So Mr. Jeff, when you think of NPCs and sidekick characters, who happens to be your favorite one? And whether they are from an RPG, a video game, maybe movie, film, television, literature, etc. Why is this character your favorite NPC or your favorite sidekick?
Oh, man. Okay. I'm sure a lot of people before me have said it, but I was reading this and I was like, man, you know what? It's Samwise Gamgee. It's
Samwise Gamgee. Yep.
It's gotta be. I'm sure a lot of people have said it, but what I love about Samwise is that he was really reluctant at first, kind of that whole like, I wasn't doing anything, and then he gets the call to be, Frodo's master of, guidance basically. But what I love about Samwise is he goes from this is I won't take another step because it's the farthest away from home I've ever been, to literally carrying Frodo up Mount Doom. How cool is that?
It's
like
very
that
cool.
To me is a good sidekick, when the sidekick knows, hey, like this isn't my show, right? But we have a job to do. I can carry you, so I'm going to. And that to me is a good sidekick. And just what he said, I mean, I get chills just thinking about his monologue at the end of the Two Towers when they're on Osgiliath. or close to Osgiliath. I forget exactly where they're at. And he's talking about there's hope in the world and there's good in the world and it's worth fighting for. It's just like, man, like the sidekick is the one to keep the main hero going when the hero feels down.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
For sure. Yeah, I know. I think there is a universality, there is a truth that is communicated through the person of Samwise Gamgee, which you are correct that a number of people have selected Samwise Gamgee as their favorite sidekick or favorite NPC. I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, but if I ever did put a wiki together for the podcast, I have to be like, how many times exactly has he been named? And, Samwise would have a nice crown on his head
I'm
for being
sure.
the MVP for
I'm
sure.
sure. I do have a secondary though.
Oh, yes.
I do have
Tell
a
us.
secondary. Yes, I do have a secondary. And it would probably be Chewbacca.
Ah, yes.
Because to completely counteract Samwise,
Mhm.
Chewbacca, he's your boy's boy, right? He will rip your arms out of your sockets and ask questions later. And sometimes you just need a good co-pilot.
Yeah.
That you can.
He's your ride or
Han
die.
yeah, exactly. Han and Chewie, they don't get deep.
He's
They're
your
just
Wookiee
like
with the life debt. Yeah.
exactly. That ends up being way more than that. But it's just it's the whole thing of just you got each other's back, and I think that's what makes a good sidekick. Not necessarily always the best at everything, but when it counts, you got them.
Yeah. Well, it's technically a parody of Star Wars, but of course in Mel Brooks's Spaceballs with the
Yep.
late great John Candy, it's like I'm half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend. Like that's what you want in a sidekick.
Exactly.
Yeah. Perfect. So we got two great choices for sidekick characters, but to go along with the namesake of the show, what happens to be one of your favorite side quests or B plot elements? Again, same sort of criteria if it's going to be an RPG, video game, movie, film, television, literature, etc. And why is this side quest, this B plot element, your favorite?
See, this was a little bit more difficult to think on because I'm like, a side quest. Because you always remember side quests as just being good, right? You don't really remember them as like the main thing. You're like, oh, this is what exactly happened. And so that one kind of did rack my mind a little bit. And the one that kept coming back to me was Ocarina of Time, getting the Begoron sword. You don't need to, but man, does it make everything a lot easier. And there's just something about, maybe it's just me nostalgic for the Ocarina of Time, but having to know like, okay, you have to get, I think it's the fairies tears or something like that, and then you have to wait 3 days for it to harvest and be able to craft the steel or something like that from one of the Gorons. But that is just really cool because the first time I realized that you did I went about half of the game because I was a kid without realizing there was a guide, right? Because that was when you could buy a guide at GameStop.
Back in my day, you could buy a piece of paper or call into a hotline for Nintendo and they would help you.
Oh, R.I.P. the glory days. But it's just one of those, like, you read it and you're like, wait, what? I can get a really big sword? That's dope. Which just kind of, for me, one of those things that it just kind of stuck with me, like, oh, you have to get the Begoron sword. And that just opened up there's other things in the world now that aren't just shiny shields and, sharp swords that look regular. There's this giant 10-foot long sword. And for little 6-year-old Jeff, that was awesome.
Of course, it would be awesome for any 6-year-old. Yeah.
I'm 33 and I'd still rock a 10-foot sword like that, even if it's a stick. Like, come on.
Hello, Stick Nation. I have found this 10-foot stick. It is now my Begoron sword, and I submit it for your approval.
I forgot about Stick Nation.
Or Stick Reviews, I think it is on Instagram, which I happily follow that account. There are quite some impressive sticks on there, many of which, look like they would be in a D&D game. And indeed, several savvy commenters always drumming up fantasy stats for these sticks they find.
Yeah. So those types of things and just Skyrim in general kept coming up in my brain. Like those side quests to what was it? Like the Falkreath and stuff with all like the underground like elf dark elf dudes.
Okay.
I think it's Falkreath. Like that whole area is just cool, and finding where they're like, oh yeah, there's so and so tried to go and find this power source that's under one of the mountains. I'm like, why are they going there? That's really dumb. And then you go down there and they're dead, and you're like, yeah, duh. Shouldn't have done that. But it makes for good, fun little side quests where you just have that 10 minutes of, what are you doing, dude? And it's awesome.
Perfect. And then the way that we round out the personal interview section, Jeff, what are you passionate about and why?
Passionate about, man. Hobby related, my passions are storytelling and painting. I really don't like the building aspect of it. But like painting, I really do like the painting. It's really just a nice way to relax. Outside of hobby related stuff, obviously being a great dad to my son, that is pretty much first up in line there. And then something else that over the past couple of years, advocating specifically for men's mental health has been something that I have done a lot of lately. And just trying to break that stigma of men not being able to talk or to actually express how they're feeling without judgment, and, talk about, hey, like, yeah, I'm struggling and it's okay. And you're not weak for struggling, you know? So that's kind of been my passion lately.
Very awesome. As also a fellow dad of a 5-year-old, he's firmly 5. I guess technically through this real experiment I've been doing, his name, at least so far, has been called the Chaos Goblin. So Chaos Goblin is firmly 5 years old and agreed as far as like, they're the apple of your eye, they're your
Mm-hmm.
they're your blood, they're your offspring, they're your child. And you're like, yeah, of course, you may be a stinker at times, but I love you regardless.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But
Yes.
you're my stinker.
Yes, you're
Mm-hmm.
my stinker.
Yep.
And then, of course, yeah, totally. Mental health is super important, and men, yes, should be free and encouraged to be able to speak their feelings and confide, have these deep friendships with men, with women, to be able to express themselves and to not have
Mm-hmm.
anything, suppressed or dismissed. So we definitely encourage good mental health on this
Yeah,
podcast.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, it sounds like we've had a jolly good time here in the first section of the show, and now it's time to get into the NPC creation. And NPC creation is brought to you by you, the podcast audience, and our patrons from Patreon. So now is the time of the show where we give our comfortable patrons and above a loud hurrah. So to you, Anson Jablinski, and good old mom and dad, we say cheers. I'm, of course, rocking the last of my alcohol mixers, which is like a little mint julep thing. So it's just some whiskey and
Ooh,
mint julep mixer. So it's a little green drink. I promise
there
it's
we
not the
go.
absinthe that you could find in the levitating platter. It's just regular whiskey and mint julep mix. But cheers, yes. So all these folks that I
Water.
named, yes, water. Hydrate. It's very important, people. Hydrate, for goodness sakes.
Do it.
All these people that I named are actually wealthy tier patrons, which means they get to introduce an element of chance to our random tables. And we
Ooh.
maybe might get to hear some today. But if you want to learn more about all the wonderful, awesome tiers of patronage and rewards that we have awaiting for you, you should go to the show notes below, go to the podcast website, or just go directly to patreon.com/sidekicks and sidequests to learn more about what is in store and waiting for you. If you can only commit to being free, that's fine too. We got lots of cool free people just hanging out in the platter and having a good time, and trying to do my best to keep that going. And every little bit helps to help support the podcast. So Patreon, Kofi, the things, you can do the things. I just appreciate everyone so much. All right. And now that that whole song and dance is done, we come to the part now where we get to make an NPC. And before we hit all the record buttons and got all of our audio straight, you said that you were still interested in bringing a character to us, that we were going to walk through these questions one by one, and then you were going to, reveal what it was about the NPC that we're learning about today. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of. As it's kind of like I've got an idea for it as I was looking over the things, and I've got something that we can look at. I'm curious to see where it goes. I kind of want to follow your lead here. I've got an idea, like a name, and kind of about a little bit of a backstory, maybe for him and things like that. But for the minutia, I kind of want to see where we go. I liked the idea of that random table stuff, just to kind of add a
Okay.
little flavor.
Oh, so we want to do a mix and match
I
today.
think so. I think let's mix and
Okay.
match. Yeah.
We're doing the old mix and match. So Jeff has got some ideas already. And then for anything else, we're just going to leave it up to chance and we're going to roll some dice. So whether those are virtual or physical or otherwise, we begin NPC creation, of course, with the name. So do we happen to have a name for this character?
We do have a name.
Okay.
Danver Stargazer.
Danver Stargazer. Okay.
Yep, like Denver with an A.
Okay. Or Carol Danvers, like from
Or Carol
Marvel Comics.
Danvers, like Marvel Comics. Yep. That actually didn't dawn on me until just now.
Until just now.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, Danver Stargazer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see, next question. What is the ancestry of this character? 5.5 might say species. I just say ancestry to keep it simple.
Sure. So he is a verdant.
A verdant. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Is this like the weird goblin guys that Acquisitions Incorporated invented?
The guys that start off really small and then they get bigger as they grow in level. Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, you know what? Because I saw them, I don't think I've ever actually interacted or included Verdan in my world.
They're
So this is
awesome.
going to be an experience for me learning about these guys. So can you pitch them to me, like as you just explained? So they start off small, but they get bigger.
So they at level 1, they start off as a small creature, so like a gnome size. They can like go in between people's legs and stuff like that, which makes them really fun to play at lower levels. Up to level 5, they grow to a medium-sized character at level 5. So you go the first 4 levels of playing this thing as a small creature and doing all these small type of feats and things like that. And then you eventually get to that regular size character, and now you lose that and you have to start dealing with another aspect of them, which they have. I'm pretty sure, because one of my players has it right now, so I think it's all verdant. Telepathy, which is really cool.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure it's verdant. So let me double check that before I completely can commit to that fact.
Verdan, as it says here in the Forgotten Realms wiki, were a race of continuously mutating goblinoids that have first appeared in Faerun in the late 15th century DR. Okay, yeah. So, and it says that they were first appearance in the in Acquisitions Incorporated in their source book. Oh yeah, okay. So they grow from small to medium size.
Yep. Which is super cool, and they have like a baked-in telepathy type thing, which is really just fun because they're kind of in my mind, they're kind of like a goblin elf mix, kind of, in a way.
And I do have my own homebrew version of like well, I call them tusked elves, and it's either you get the orcish flavor or you get the goblin flavor of a tusked elf.
Okay.
Learn more about that on my Patreon. Ding.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking he's a verdant.
He's a verdant. Okay. And so Danver Stargazer, a verdant, one of these continuously mutating goblinoid type creatures, which sounds like even now how they've redone the errata or sorry, I'm not trying to say like a naughty word. I'm trying to say the background lore explanation of things in the source material, where I think they were like, oh, goblins are actually originally from the Feywild. So it seems like Verdan would actually fit pretty well with the chaos of the Feywild. It's like, oh, they just happen to be from like the super chaotic part of the Feywild, and that's why they're constantly mutating all the time.
That's exactly right. That, and the first time I played as one was in Spelljammer.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. They're just weird, and I love them, and so I want him to be a verdant or verdant, however you pronounce it. I've probably been pronouncing it wrong this entire time.
Well, fair enough. Okay. Okay. All right. Perfect. So we know that Danver Stargazer, Verdan, and then let's see. What is the job role in society, the occupation of our fair Danver Stargazer?
He is loosely based on me, kind of. So
Okay.
his job by day is he is a brewer, like not he's just a brew hand, basically, like a tavern help, basically.
Okay.
But by night he is the tavern's performance, playing his lute. But it's more of a it's just lute. Yeah, it's just the lute. I was like,
Okay,
this
so
is
he's
anything
rocking a
else? No,
lute
it's a
at
lute.
night. So,
Uh-huh.
during the day, during the morning shift, he's like the barback,
Mhm.
and like helping around clean and stuff like that. Then at night, they're like, all right, you could go up on stage and play some music.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Yep.
And just because Chaos Goblin in my house has been watching these YouTube meme song compilation videos, because just randomly my son will start singing David Bowie's. He'll go Starman, and so for some reason I was thinking that is Danver Stargazer kind of like a David Bowie esque sort of a entertainer, or is he just like, oh, I'm the amateur that's like, I
Mm.
practice my lute really hard and I play the best I can on stage.
No, he's decent. He's
Okay.
decent. Yeah. Yeah,
So
he's
not
decent.
amateur, but like,
Not an amateur.
yeah, not an
But
amateur, but he's like he's someone who's been playing it for quite a while. And so
yeah,
he's like,
yeah,
he's good. He's decent. He's got
yeah,
chops.
yeah, he may have opened up for a few pretty big acts in his day.
Ooh. Okay. I like that. All right. And then let's see the next thing. How old is Danver Stargazer?
I'd say late 20s, early 30s.
Okay, late
Mhm.
20s, early 30s. And it does say, according to the wiki, that their average lifespan of these Verdan are estimated to be about 200 years, give or take.
Yeah. So he's
Obviously, if you decide to keep the lore, if you will.
yeah, he's on the lower side of, quarter life.
Ah, and he's a small dude then. So at
Yeah,
this point,
yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Or has he already gone to medium size?
In my mind, for him, he's already shape shifted into the medium sized creature.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Very
Yeah.
good. And then as this is the part where I say, oh, we get to pause some dice rolling, as now we get to consider what is the physical appearance of Danver Stargazer. So we've got, a medium-sized creature,
Mm-hmm.
he's a Verdan. He works in this tavern, doing the day shift and helping out in the day. And then at night he gets to jam on the stage and be the entertainment. So like, what does he look like? How describe him to us in this audio medium that we share?
Yeah. So you see, I'm about to go in GM mode for you. You see it before you. No, so he would, to me, when I'm looking at him in my mind, I see kind of that, like, that smoky green, kind of like that splotchy green type look. If you've ever like seen, I'm trying to think of the, almost like a lizard, like a green and yellow lizard, almost, where they've got that like pale like yellow on that green type skin. Um,
Okay.
he's a handsome guy. He's bald, of course, because he's a verdant, and he got
Okay.
long pointed ears. He has a nose ring.
Okay.
Yeah, and his eyes are just these bright yellow eyes they kind of look like the sun, almost like the sun radiating almost in his eyes.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's got very sharp teeth, but it's not off-putting when he smiles. It's almost like it's a calm smile, but as you look, you notice that he's got very sharp teeth.
Okay. So he takes good
Medium build,
care
yeah.
of his teeth so they're not like
Mhm.
jagged and like broken or nothing. It's like, oh,
No,
a big
they're
Cheshire
clean.
cat like smile, but then it's like you stare at his teeth long enough and you're like, oh, those aren't
Wait a
like,
second.
those aren't omnivore teeth. Those are carnivore
Yeah,
teeth.
exactly. Yeah. He's a, medium build. He's not a huge guy, but he's not lanky either. And yeah, he's got a lot of really awesome, just really cool tattoos.
Ah.
Mhm.
Any particular ones of notes, or are you just leaving it up to DMs and the people and sticking Danver Stargazer in the backstory to sort of invent their tattoos?
I'm gonna have people invent their own tattoos, because tattoos are really awesome in D&D. And if you don't know, there are like magical tattoos that you can get and stuff. It makes for things really, really wild. Yeah, I can talk a lot about that because I have a whole mechanic built around it. Anyways, yeah, so he's just got a lot of tattoos.
Okay, perfect. So we're getting the idea of how we should picture Danver, but the way to help us out with role playing, obviously, the way I think it does it best is what 3 adjectives would you use to describe Danver Stargazer?
Yeah, I'd say suave.
Ooh, okay.
I would say intentive, but I think that's the wrong word. Like everything that he does, let's see. So we have suave. We'll go with he's quiet to some degree. I'd say quiet.
Quiet. Okay. Suave and
And
quiet. Okay.
I don't know what the word is, but he's always listening.
Okay.
I don't know what the word is for that though.
Just trying to see, hey, machine, could you Google me? Could you Google me or give me a good synonym for this? So it's like, so you're imagining that Danver is like an active listener, empathetic, sympathetic listener, attentive, engaged,
attentive. That's attentive. That was the word I was thinking.
Attentive. Aha.
Attentive. He's quiet, suave, and attentive.
There we go. Yeah. Well, yeah, naturally sounds like someone who is well suited for a tavern type environment.
Exactly.
His natural, his favored terrain is taverns.
Yep.
Okay. And now is the part where I would say, and now we get to go back to some dice rolling because we like all of our NPCs to have something cool on their person. So what's going to be a valuable item, piece of lore, secret, or ideal or concept that they would ascribe to? Sometimes when people are like mix and matching or bringing in their own character, they might have more than one. But if you're just like, I can't really land on something, this is the combination roll where we get to do a D4 for the category and then a D6 for the thing.
Yeah, let's do that because I want to keep it like I want to keep him kind of. I have an idea for one thing on him.
Sure,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean the lute sounds like a pretty
well. The lute is a twofold because while he is quiet, attentive, and suave, he is no stranger to getting into a fisticuff fight, and he does not fight cleanly. And the end of that lute is a shiv.
Oh, just a shiv on the end. I thought you were going to say he's like El Kabong and he just beans people with the lute, but no, he just has a shiv on the end of it. Prison style.
Sorry. Prison style.
All right, fair enough.
I told you he's weird, and I think he's awesome. Yeah.
Fair enough. Certainly a statement piece, to say the least. So were you interested in rolling on the table and maybe seeing something else?
Yeah. Let's see what he's got there. Yeah.
All right. So the first roll will be a D4, and then we'll do a D6.
All right. A D4 and a D6, you said?
Yeah.
All right. The D4 is a 3.
Ooh, this is going to be a secret.
Ooh, and a D. Do you want the D6?
Yes.
All right. A 5.
5. All right. So this was provided to us by our good friend Eating the Dungeon. He's a great YouTuber, makes fun stuff if you want to learn how to cook all the monsters you hunt. So this secret. So Danver Stargazer, this NPC has a twin who died, and then this NPC stole their identity.
Oh, I love it.
So this Danver Stargazer is not the real Danver Stargazer. Who is this Danver Stargazer originally? Perfect. This explains the shiv on the lute, methinks.
And the quiet and suave.
Yes. Do you have any ideas of who his twin is?
Man. No, not off the top of my head, I don't. Man, that's such a good, like, oh my gosh, I was not expecting a twin. Man.
Yes. It's classic
twin.
soap opera, don't you know?
It is classic soap opera, don't you know? His twin.
So the real Danver Stargazer died, and then this
Mhm.
twin took up his identity. So why would that be? Is there something, is
Oh,
it
who is?
because of like something to do with the tavern? Or is it just like the twin was in trouble and then his twin is the one who took the hit and he's like, well, I guess I have to be my brother now or my sister.
Yeah.
Well, it would have, well, I don't know.
Well,
Brother or sister. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't want
It
to
would be his
assume, but
brother.
it sounds like since you were like Danvers based on me, it would be like,
Yeah,
okay.
it'd be his brother. His twin was let's see. Man, I don't ever deal with twins. This is really like, whoa. Who would he be? Because I want him to be cool too. Like you want him to have something.
Yeah. Well, and as I'm
Yeah,
looking at the
I'm
statement
like
again,
really,
you tell
man.
me, how, I mean, there's the one way that I read it, but it could be read another way. It's, I mean, what it reads is the NPC has a twin who died and I think I wrote and stolen their identity. So is it like
Yeah.
this NPC has a twin who died and this NPC stole the dead twin's identity, or the twin has assumed the identity of this NPC that we're making. So then
I
there's
think
this whole mysterious
the
past
twin
with
is.
the other, yeah. So however
Yeah,
you
I
approach
think
it.
that's I'm more inspired on that side. So the twin took over Danvers' personality and his
Ah,
life,
yeah,
basically. So Danver died,
right.
but this guy came in
And
as
became Danver.
he became Danver, yeah.
Yeah.
And so basically, yeah, Danver Danver got into some weirdness in a past little thing while journeying around in the Feywild,
Okay.
and they came across some not quite morally good individuals, and they got into a tiff, and they thought that they had killed Danver, but to make things interesting, or they thought they had killed the brother,
They
and
thought they
then
killed the
they
other
killed the brother.
twin.
Yeah, and then to make things interesting, the twin took over as Danver. I think
So
that
it sounds
works.
like the twin
That
might
works.
have been in trouble or involved in trouble, and then sort of now is like scot free because, oh, I'm now Danver. But there's
Yeah,
that secret that's
I
haunting
think.
him. It's like, oh, I should have been the
Yeah,
one that was taken out, but I'm now
you
having to
know,
live as my brother.
yeah, and it was because he said he should have been the one that was there because he made the mistake and
Mm,
got everyone in trouble, and that's where everything kind of went wrong. Was he was the trigger point of where everything kind of switched into, oh crap, this isn't going our way anymore. So
yeah.
now he feels that he should have been the one, and to that he lives on as Danver.
Ooh. Okay. Juicy. Well, I wonder if it's going to feed into a potential side quest because we also like all of our NPCs to have bright gold exclamation points over their head. So, what is going to be a side quest that our Danver Stargazer would be
Mm-hmm.
willing to recruit or hire a bunch of player characters to go and do? So, if you have that idea, lay it on us. Or, again, if you want to randomly generate it and see if it's interesting, you could roll the last dice, which is a d12.
Ooh, a D12. Let's roll a D12 real quick
Yeah,
and
let's see what you get.
see what happens on this beautiful little die. A 2.
2. All right. Well, this one was provided to us by our previous guest, Tyler Smith. So, 2 people are after the same artifact. 1, sell the artifact to one person, or 2, donate to a museum. Secret is that they will get something more powerful in return or just as equal. So do you think this is something that Danver Stargazer would be willing to offer up, or would you like a reroll? Because I
I
don't
think I'd
know.
roll.
Sometimes you roll on these and you're just like, I don't know how I can square that circle.
Yeah, let's do a reroll, if I will.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see here. That's a 12.
Well, this is from your co-host and your good friend
Oh
Charlie the
god.
Ing GM. All right,
Oh
let's see
man,
about this one.
come
They
on, bro.
work for an eccentric employer who is a collector of teeth. They need a beholder tooth for their collection. The previous one they had was a fake. Collector does not know the original is a fake. What do you think
Okay,
about this one?
this is really funny. Actually, he talked about this.
Oh, he did. So he kind of clued you in.
No, like this, like I have a crisp memory of him talking about this exact thing on the show, like on the Storycrafters about that. That's hilarious, and I think Danver would. I think that to honor Charlie's question, I gotta go with it.
Okay.
I think that's hilarious because he works for like it's a tavern,
Mhm.
and it's like, hey, maybe there's that Rumpelstiltskin styled vendor in the corner there that's just selling teeth. It's disgusting and weird.
Well, it says
Or
collector of teeth.
collector of teeth. Sorry, yeah, and the dude that's just like, hey, I'll
Is
give
the
you.
bar themed around teeth?
Oh,
I
reading
mean, if it's a bunch
his
of goblins, conceivably,
it could
they're like
be.
they decorate it like, some
Yeah, no, they got
places.
like the necklaces with all the tusks and things like that and stuff, I guess sometimes.
Yeah, you
Um,
like, they have like, in the places you go with like big taxidermy game animal trophies,
yeah.
or it's like the big elephant skulls with the tusks jutting out. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Ivories or something like that's the name of the tavern,
Sure.
maybe.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of
Reading is
music on the ivory keys, and then all the
oh.
teeth are around. So the
Oh,
Ivories.
yeah. We could do that. We could do that. The Ivory Tavern.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be no, that's a little weird. Well, yeah. We'll workshop the name.
Yeah, fair enough. But maybe that's the name of the place, and
Yeah.
the tavern owner is like this eccentric
He's this
collector of all
weird,
these teeth.
yeah. These he's just an eclectic dude who likes to collect weird things.
He's like Jack
He's
White.
yeah, yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Jack White and, equipped with all like the moths and stuff in the glass cases and things like that and all the weird
I'm pretty
artifacts
sure
and
he
things like
has a
that.
gigantic elephant skull or something at Third Man
Yeah.
Records.
Yeah, that would probably be accurate. That wouldn't be surprising at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
I
yeah,
think
so
I
we've
think
got
that
like
yeah.
this tavern owner, yeah, yeah. Some
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
fey trickster maybe,
yeah.
or just a weird dude, who knows?
It's just the more that we've fleshed this out, the more I'm getting just like Rumpelstiltskin kind of vibes. Like the whole area just kind of think that's that swampy, magical, weird kind of just not necessarily swampy, but
Is this
like
the mundane world or is this the Feywild?
I'm thinking this the more that I've gone into it, it's more Feywild feeling than
Okay,
anything else to me. But it could be dropped into the mundane world. Sure, why not? Bars have weird people. So
that's true.
why not stay
If
weird?
our mundane world has Jack White,
Right.
why can't your D&D world?
Right, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Have weird
The
characters.
music is killer. I
Awesome.
mean, you've got Danver Stargazer there, but like just think of all the talent that comes through that place.
Yeah, and Danver just plays Six Nation Army on repeat, not Seven Nation Army because that's copyright.
Yes, Six Nation Army. Yes.
He knows his rules.
The Hellhounds couldn't get him. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man, that's funny.
Okay.
I
And
think
so
I
in
think
the
that'd be something to do.
collection, so there's this beholder tooth that he needs for the collection because the
Mhm.
previous one they had was a fake.
Was a
So
fake.
kind of
Yeah.
interesting how they discover that. But the collector,
Mhm.
the owner of the tavern, doesn't know. So it's
Yeah.
kind of interesting this side quest. So like
Mhm.
he's gonna offer it
Well,
to a bunch of
he's
heroes to
he's
like
going
help him out
to
with.
because yeah, and the reason he's going to do that is because, like I said, he is that. This actually works out perfectly. He is that barback, and like I said, he's always listening, right?
Hmm.
So he's just waiting for that perfect adventuring party to come by to drop this side quest on him. Like, hey,
Okay.
I
So
need you
yeah,
to do a
he's
thing.
listening, he's waiting to
Mhm.
see like which party can I drop this on. Perfect.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so then we obviously kind of roughly, not we don't have to we're not going to plan an entire side quest, but when the players get this mission and they go off and do it and they come back successful to Danver Stargazer, how is Danver Stargazer going to reward the party?
Lots of merch. No, I'm just kidding. No, he'll give him a little bit of some coin. I like the idea that since he works at the bar and he's pretty good, he's pretty good in with the tavern. I'd like to imagine that he would be able to provide free lodging for the party.
Okay. So
Yeah.
he's just he gives them like comped suites whenever they roll into town.
Suites, maybe
Real casino vibes. This guy is like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
come to the tavern. I'll give you a comp suite. Just make sure you gamble and drink a bunch.
yeah, he's that guy that's like, hey, you're trying to get a room in this economy? No. Like the room's on me if if you help me out, And like I said, he's just waiting for that perfect party, because maybe he's waiting for that party to maybe help him in life again. Who knows?
I see. So he's able immediately to be able to give him like comped rooms and like help him out in the immediate, but the future fodder of
Mhm,
this of completing this side quest is that eventually he might open up about his secret, and then that
mhm.
generates a subsequent
I
side
think
quest
so.
plot thread that you follow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I think because I think he's really looking for somebody to help him
Avenge his brother.
avenge his brother and also bring closure because he feels that it's his mistake, and so it feels like
Mm.
it is. He needs that. I think.
Okay. But then we also have to consider the opposite. What's going to be the consequence of failure or refusing the call to the adventure? So, you know, Danver's waiting for the perfect party to come.
Mhm,
He asks them to do this, and they're
mhm,
like, teeth? No way. A beholder? Are you crazy? There's no way we're going to go fight a beholder or go lurking around places where beholders just shed their teeth or whatever. How is he going to react in that circumstance? Or maybe even, the collector somehow overhears their loud refusal and then he's like, what? It's a fake. That could be a whole thing. Or, they fail somehow, like beholder escapes, they all die
mhm.
in the pursuit of getting this beholder tooth or whatever it is. How is Danver Stargazer going to react in that circumstance?
I think he would react in another party, another failure. I
Mm,
think because a beholder is no easy foe. So
true.
who's to say that this is his first time providing this side quest?
And also another thing to consider, does he have any leads on where a beholder is? Or is he just like very vaguely like, dude, I don't know where a beholder is, but I just need a beholder tooth. I don't care how you get it, I just need a tooth.
I think he wouldn't really care how the party got the beholder tooth.
Mm.
I think he would be just more of making sure it's authentic.
Fair enough. Okay, so then it does open it up for your players at least. It's like if you happen to know a beholder, just somehow bargain with them for a tooth
Mhm.
or find a dead beholder somewhere and just rip off one of those teeth or you know, hey, we happen to have this dead beholder in our bag of holding. Yeah, we'll just wrench one of those off for you. No
Sure,
problem.
you know? Yeah, I mean, to him, maybe it's just, he knows this is a potential problem and doesn't really care to see how it gets fixed.
Fair enough. Okay. So, yeah. So, obvious consequence if you're like having to actually fight or infiltrate a beholder's lair to get a tooth, that presents its own consequences with failure. Is there any difference, do you think, if the collector, if the owner of the tavern somehow overhears or learns that, hey, this one tooth in my collection is actually a fake? Does that do anything to affect the actual business, the ivories, if you will?
Um, Potentially because it's a beholder tooth. I mean, that's pretty cool. Not everybody has a beholder tooth on their hearth.
Yeah.
So I think that might be one of the attractions of the tavern,
Yeah.
and maybe actually, yeah. No, yeah. No. Because I flipped it. I went into, if I were doing this. No. We have to go with what we've been given. So, yeah, no. I think that it'd be really good It's kind of a big, like one of the abnormally large beholder tooth.
Okay. It's like a
So
really
it's
big tooth, not quite like an
yeah.
elephant. I don't know. Is it like an elephant tusk size or?
How big is that beholder? Oh my god.
Well, I mean, aren't beholders are like
And
large
they're
sized
large
creatures.
creatures, yeah. I'd say it's probably like one of the a pretty large, I'd say. Couple feet, maybe. 3 feet. I feel like that's a pretty big tooth.
Teeth often range from thick and pointed to thin and needle-like. In some cases, they are described as human-like, fanged, or even a double row of sharp stalactite-like teeth.
I'm thinking like a big old chunker one, like just a
Oh, given that a
big tooth.
typical beholder is an orb about 8 to 10 feet in diameter, their large teeth are proportional to a massive, wide gaping maw.
Good lord, so yeah, they'd be 2-3 feet long.
I mean, yeah, that's a pretty big.
That's
Yeah.
a pretty big tooth. Yeah.
Yeah, so given that a beholder is a sphere, its teeth generally portrayed as several inches long, often depicted in the 3 to 6 inch range to fill a massive gaping maw. So just
Yeah,
trying to
so
do some quick researching here live
mhm.
on the podcast. So,
Yeah, you
it's a
have
pretty
to.
sizable tooth, unless like you're talking about, like, especially if it's like
I mean,
somehow
no,
a
maybe okay,
mutated
maybe
beholder,
not,
it's even
maybe
bigger.
not a huge one, but I mean, like, it's I feel like we're on Monty Python's got huge pointy teeth.
Yes. Big, nice, sharp, pointy teeth.
Yeah. At that point, then, since the regular one's like 3 to 6 inches, I'd say maybe it's on the larger side of a foot,
Yeah.
somewhere, you know, something like that, 10
One of the
inches a
big
foot.
canine teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, the big ones. Yeah, and it's just kind of an attraction. The owner thinks it's real. And, well,
I'm just
that
wondering
is
if
that's
like
the
does the
business.
tavern owner crash out? Does he have like an
I think
existential
he
dread now? He's like, well, if that
Yeah.
tooth was a fake, are any of my other teeth real, or are they all fakes
Yeah, I
too?
think at that point, he would go into like this, just a self-deprivation, like what is life right now? Like my prized tooth that I built my whole, tavern around is a fake. Does that mean I'm a fake? Am I living a fake? And then he's gonna go and maybe, go live in a cave for a while. And the next thing you know, he comes out with a swarm of like, you know, swamp people, and that's his villain origin story. No, I don't know. No.
All
um
right, so
yeah,
we're
no, it was
scratching
just
the swamp villain origin story, but
no,
yeah,
but
I
it was
mean,
just yeah,
logically, I could see him. If he's very
yeah,
eccentric, he cares about this collection. Maybe it fills him with doubt because he doesn't know.
yeah.
Like, well,
Doesn't
are there any
feel
other
anymore.
fakes in my collection? Does he get mad at
Maybe he
uh,
spent a lot of money on his
Danver
collection.
Stargazer? Does he blame him somehow because it's like, well, you knew and then you
You
didn't
knew
tell me?
exactly. Yeah, I think so. I think he would do that, and Danver isn't really in a spot to where he can really leave anywhere else right now because like
Secret identity.
the secret identity thing. So he needs this job. He needs the safety of what he's got around him. So yeah, he's waiting for that right party to take on the task, and hopefully the tavern keep doesn't find out that it's a fake.
All right. So, with these questions now covered, do you feel like Danver Stargazer is a pretty well-rounded character? Are we ready to go into the next section, or did any of the alternate
I
questions
think
interest you?
no, I think we're good. I think we can keep him going.
All right, so then without further ado, it's time to head into a random encounter. This random encounter is brought to you by my sponsor, Zencastr. How do I use Zencastr? Well, that's the service that I'm using right now to be able to record my episodes of the podcast. It's what allows me to capture it all, put it into my editing machines on my new computer to get it processed and put forth onto the interwebs and podcast land for you all to enjoy. I was able to take part of this service all thanks to my buddies Benjamin Huffman and Dane Fox McGraw over at the Dispel Magic podcast. And if you were at this time in your life wondering what can I be doing, what sort of hobbies or things that I could be branching out to, well, I'm here to talk to you today about Zencastr. It's so easy. It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high quality podcast right away. Record studio quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen. Knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings at the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. You can sound your best. Have you ever wondered what you might sound like? Well, Zencastr's post-production process makes you sound buttery smooth. It automatically works to remove those filler words in your recordings, and it makes those awkward pauses in conversation dip out as well. You can set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with a click of a button. It's all in one, so if you've thought about podcasting before and realize that you need a lot of different tools and services these days in order to do a podcast, well, I can assure you that those days are done. With Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform, you can create your podcast all in one place and distribute it to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code SIDEKQPodcast, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Again, go to zencastr.com/pricing, use my code SIDEKQPodcast, get that 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. Thank you so much for listening to this ad and for supporting the sponsor. It helps to support the show. And without further ado, on with the podcast. All right, so now is the part of the show where we get to do a role play, a scene, a vignette with the character that we've discovered and made here today. So I think Jeff is going to do a fantastic job as Danver Stargazer. But the question becomes, who am I going to be in the scene? Am I going to be one of my podcast adventurer characters who gets the side quest? Am I going to be this eccentric tavern owner that's like Jack White somehow? Is it Danver having a poignant scene with his twin before the twin's untimely demise? Or I don't know, is there something else that speaks to you as like a good character defining role play vignette?
Man, for you? Oh, man.
Well, you're the guest, so it's like whatever.
Oh,
What do
man.
you think is going to showcase off your ability to tell the audience to breathe a life into Danver Stargazer?
I don't know. Man.
Well, we have the Rolodex of adventurers for the podcast if you want to go
let's
through
do that.
them.
Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, of course, we have Duncan. He's the recklessly brave adventurer for hire, happy-go-lucky. No feat too small, no task too daring sort of a guy. We have Sonia, who is the warrior woman who started off as a barbarian, multiclassed into a paladin, who serves a god who wishes to redeem the undead. We have Korak. He is the lawful evil, arcane trickster, roguish dwarf. We have Chrisley. She's the herbalist, botanist, wood elf druid, who, is a champion of the woad, and then multiclassed and became a cleric of living memory. We have Orion, who is the astral elf illusionist wizard. We have Agape. She's the lilac colored tiefling Sorlock, started off as a wild magic sorcerer, made an archfey warlock pact, and now is a Sorlock. We have Lifespell the Necromancer. He's a little forest gnome old man, and he's rolling deep with a crew of Skelly Bros and a big undead Clifford the dog. And we've also got Amblin Mithril Shaper, who's a dwarven lady bard.
I'm kind of here for that necromancer skeleton Clifford dog, dude.
Oh, you want to have him meet Lifespell the Necromancer?
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Where we last left our hero, Lifespell the Necromancer, of course, he had come into contact with Victoria, who was the Terra folk, and she was the dog matchmaker. And she, very keen in her keen mind and with her keen ways, was able to match the loyalist, goodest boy for Lifespell the Necromancer, who is most certainly on his way to his ultimate life goal of getting his own army of skeleton bros. He now has Bonesby, who is a Clifford-sized undead dog. So he has been triumphantly riding on the back of Bonesby, And of course, in tow with him, he has his faithful manservant, Octavius, the manservant. He has Get Over Here, who is the big Minotaur skeleton, who's like the pack mule with a big chest on his back. We, of course, have Slippin' Jimmy, who is a bugbear skeleton with an arcane arm for one of the skeletal arms instead of a skeleton arm.
Oh, dope.
And then there also happens to be a dwarven skeleton in tow with them as well, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was Bonebreaker. I think was what the name he came up with for that skeleton. He's of course acquired a lot of skeletons at this point.
Yeah.
So, he has to try and name them to keep them straight because even as an old man, his mind will wander and he'll forget the names of his good bros. Suffice it to say, he's been having a wild time on his adventures, riding Bonesby majestically like the never-ending story, just fist constantly in the air going, yeah, while Bonesby is charging across the countryside, sniffing with his undead nose for more skeletons. But, of course, it's late in the day. They are tired, and the last 2 taverns they've stopped at have refused service because of the size of Bonesby, much to their chagrin. But they come across the Ivories. Bones, skeleton, Ivories, that seems to strike life spell pretty well the right way. So he's like, yes, I think this will be the place. This is the place for us. So they dismount off of Bonesby, and he tells Bonesby to sit, and Bonesby sits down on the ground, and he's a very good boy. And so then they all walk inside the tavern, the Ivories. And as they enter inside, what is it that they see? Describe the inside of this tavern to me.
So as they walk in, they see directly in front of them. It's kind of like a dark brown wood tavern, got a little bit of that red crimson in the wood a little bit there. On there there's torches on about every other panel lining, kind of illuminating, and in between those torches are various artifacts that the tavern owner has collected over time. He's particularly on the to the left of the tavern as you walk in is the hearth, that the flames, it's this huge roaring fire, and on the top of it is a larger than average beholder tooth. On the ground, on the wood floor, there's ornate carpets, but they're kind of like eclectic looking. Like they look really nice, but kind of like 70s style, but like purples and blues. And it's a little bit weird. It's a little funky. Because then, just to remind you that you're in the Feywild, so things are a little bit weird. There's some paintings that look really beautiful from afar, but as you get closer to them, you realize that they're all like paint by numbers, Starry Night style paintings, that they just get weirder the closer you get to them. But there's just this smell of wonderful like honey mead and lavender, different types of drinks and beverages are drinks, foods and breads, all sorts of just great smells around the air. Yeah.
And where is it that we see Danver currently?
Danver at the moment is he's just behind the bar. Just it's kind of a quieter night. Nothing. He's just kind of cleaning a glass, doing the classic bartender, waiting for you to tell me your problems type deal.
And is it pretty packed, or is it sparsely populated in there today?
I'd say it's a decent enough crowd to keep things comfortable, but not too quiet to where it's a little concerning. It's just that nice, comfortable. You got a couple locals, maybe some new people, but you know that you're going to be all right for the day.
Yeah, so Life Spell is taking a look around. Of course, even though he's rolling deep with skeletons, thanks to some help and advice from people along the way, he's done a fairly decent job of like covering up all his companions. So they have like cloaks and robes and masks and obscuring items to really hide the fact that they're skeletons walking with him. Aside from like maybe a jerky movement or a clattering noise as they shuffle about. But yeah, I think he's currently get over here. The Minotaur skeleton is currently holding him up right now, so he's
Mhm.
not having to walk as hard. He's a little old gnome man, so it's like hard on
Yeah.
his legs at sometimes.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, my bones and my legs. Yes. This seems. Oh, teeth. Oh, teeth are skeletons. They are made of. And maybe unique to him because he's this necromancer and he's so focused on skeletons and bones. He just does like a detect skeletons spell. Like
Mhm.
basically, as this osteopath, as this osteo necromancer, basically he's like using his necromancer powers. He just wants to do a quick scan of the room. And he's like, his eyes cloud over white and he has his hand extended because he's marveling at all the teeth and stuff like that. And then as has his hand pans over the fireplace, over the mantle. He kind of does like a double take. And then he's like, oh, well, that's odd. And then, he lets his hand go, his eyes go back to normal. And then he has everybody slowly approach the bar. And then he's like, yes, skeletons, teeth, ivories. I see here. Clever. I don't think I've seen one of, what is it? Verdan, Verdan.
Verdant.
Yes, that's what you are. Yes, good man. I require lodgings for me and my hound outside. He is also a large, good boy, and I believe he's huge. So I think you have a stables large enough from outside. Is that correct?
How large are we talking?
He's huge, huge, big as a house, big as a house
Biggest
for me.
We may have something in the back.
Excellent. All right. Yes. Well, he's life spells just like trying to make small talk and stuff like that. And, he's like, interesting. Yes. I myself am I'm an archaeologist, don't you know? And I'm quite an admirer of the things of an osteo nature. Yes. The bones, the teeth. Yes. Very good. Although it's quite odd, he's starting to get a little more animated, a little louder, and so
Mhm.
he starts to direct his attention over toward the fireplace, old man talking louder and louder as he gets more excited. He's like, and that one over there. Now, I have a keen eye for these sorts of things. And he's about to start blurting out like how he's like, oh, but that one actually doesn't register as so does Danver like jump in to cut him off before he blurts
Yeah,
out the truth?
as he's about to blurt out Danver, he puts the glass down just oh so smoothly, and he just kind of grabs the bone hand of that minotaur and just no, grandfather, we don't need to be making this anybody else's business now, do we? Now listen here, as he pulls him in. How good are you with those let's be real, lack there of a disguise for your skelly boys? How good are you with them?
Yes. He life spell will roll an insight check. We'll say he does really well, and he's like, seem
Mhm.
to have touched a sore spot. And he's like, you are a keen eye yourself, because not many people can tell of my crew of their exact nature. So, and yeah, when you did grip, like, he had sleeves or he had things on to try and like hide like that he was a skeleton, but when he grabbed
Yeah,
to
but you
pull
could
the hand closer to
feel.
bring life spell closer, it was like, oh yeah, you could tell it's just bone under there. And life spell does get over here to not like react violently to having his wrist grabbed. He's like, no, I see, quid pro quo, an agreement. It was a gentleman's agreement of some sort you're looking for. A
Of
little
course.
yes, you need me to do something for you, I suppose. I know quite a lot about bones, don't you know?
Well, it's good that you know a lot about bones, then, doesn't it? I'll make it quick. You find me a real beholder tooth of around an approximate of that size, and maybe I'll provide you lodging here at the Ivories free of charge, and maybe some extras to go along with it,
Hmm.
should, of course, you be successful. Now, should you fail, well, the owner would not like that very much, and quite frankly, I need this job. I need the stability. So let's not mess around.
I do like the idea of free lodgings. You know, these old bones. And he starts like staring off into the middle distance. And he like, he does like a with his knees. And he's like, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. But all right. Well, I mean, you do. Is there a specification of exactly what you're looking for? Does the creature need to be alive or any such thing?
He takes a glance around at his little party that he has with him. No, to be frank with you, I don't quite care what you do or how you do it, and with present company around, I think you'll have fun while doing it too. So
he starts he starts getting an evil chuckle on his face because he's like, "I yes." He rolls a history check. Or yeah, he rolls a history check. He does really well because he realizes in you asking for beholder and not specifying, he's like, "Wait a minute. There are a kind of beholder that are undead, and I work with skeletons, and having an
Mhm.
undead beholder in my he starts getting like like Mr. Toad levels of mania look in his eye, and he's like, I accept your quest, boy. Yes, I will do it. He shoots out his little gnome hand to shake it because that's the method upon which you agree upon doing a side quest. And he's like, all right, well, yes. So Bonesby needs to be lodged. He's a good boy. And he starts going through like a whole very super detailed laundry list of like every single thing that you need to do to take care of this dog. And then he's just like, right, well, now that you've got all those instructions down, he looks at his crew. He's like, all right, well, he'll fish out some coins and throw them down to be for like a room. And he's like, key boy, key. I'm quite tired. We tried two other taverns before we found this one, so I'm quite tired. And it's like, 7 o'clock in the evening. He's ready for bed. So he's like,
Yeah.
I need my beauty rest, must rise early in the morning. Yes. And so he's like,
Yes, and
give me a key so I can go to the roof.
he'll hand him over a key. It's a rusty brass one, but as he looks over, he kind of like taps it off, and he realizes that he gave him a key that hasn't been used in so long because the room is so expensive that not many people can afford it. And as he kind of taps it off, it's this beautiful ornate silver key.
My reputation precedes me. Get over here. Go. Get me up to that room. And so the big minotaur skeleton with the big chest on his back that rattles with stuff inside of it, all the skeletons in their disguises and clothes go one by one. Octavius, of course, with his jaunty top hat and his mask and stuff. And they all go one by one up the stairs to go find the lodging. And so as you, Danver Stargazer, have these instructions, complicated laundry list of instructions of what to do to take care of this huge category sized undead dog. As the camera is left on Danver, what's going on in his head? What's he thinking? What's going to close out this DVD chapter?
He looks at the list that he's been, that he has in front of this laundry list, this CVS list, and he's going. He just starts shaking his head, and he's like, "What am I doing? I've got a gig in 5 minutes. I gotta go." And he goes, "I'll follow the dog later." Wait, where's the dog? The gig! As it goes to black, as he's now left with this dilemma on if he does the gig for his evening job or if he does the right thing and he goes and stables up the giant dog.
And scene. So there we go. How did you think it was getting to be Danver Stargazer?
I thought it's fun. That was interesting. I like him a lot. He's got a lot of secrets to him that first, you got to break him a little bit to get him to open up. But then once you get him in there, it's like, okay, he's got some cool things, and that, maybe he's got some other stories. Who knows? I like him.
And it just seems like at this point, life spell is going through life, and he just keeps acquiring more and more. So yeah, we'll see next episode. Does he have a death tyrant beholder skeleton following him around? Who knows? We'll have to see next time. But yeah, as we get here to this part of the show, I always like to do, the check-in with the guests. So, you're normally a host and you were joking like, oh, I've never been a guest on a podcast before. But now that you've officially made it through the other side, how do you think your time was on this show?
I thought it was fantastic. You were great. This was just a blast. It's such a fun. It's always fun when you get to talk D&D and talk nerd things, especially with good people, and I had a blast. It's really fun. We, created Danver Stargazer together. That's really fun. And then got some Patreon help in there from there with some of the cues.
Yeah.
And I think
And
that was
previous
really
guests
fun.
of the show. It's not
And
all
previous guests of the
Patreon.
show.
Those are
Yeah.
all people who have been on here before, left an answer for you, and you, when the microphones turn off, you in turn will be able to leave your own answers for the next
Mhm.
guest to use. So
Yep.
yeah, and I certainly want to be able to let you share your final thoughts, because this is the final thoughts section, and the check-in and the vibe read and all that. But certainly I would be remiss if I didn't leave the microphone, the soapbox, the stage, and the platform to you to promote where you want to be found, where can we
Oh
support you
gosh.
in all your projects, and then if there's any passions or causes that we need to be made aware of, let us know.
Man, you can find me at Jeff Rogers Gaming on Instagram. But you can also, if you want to show some support, you can follow the Storycrafters, which is me, Jared, the world's okayest crafter, Charlie, the Ink GM, and Nicole, Game Master Mom on Instagram. You can find us all there for the Storycrafters. That is our Dungeons and Dragons podcast where we talk about life, Dungeons and Dragons, and everything in between. Yeah, I have a lot of painting projects coming up, and yeah, that's really a lot of it right now. Potentially doing some commissions over the summer for some people at work, but that's about it. I'm just telling stories and trying to make things work.
Perfect. Yeah, and passions and causes, men's mental
Oh
health,
yeah,
mental health for
men's mental
everybody in
health,
general. Make sure
everything.
you're
Yes,
checking in and hydrating and all that good stuff. Yes, we're doing that. Yes,
yes,
yes. Looking at you,
for
audience member in particular.
all of
Yes,
you.
you.
Yes. There's something that you'll notice on my Instagram. A lot of my posts end in a Latin phrase that say "non tamen factum est," which means you're not done yet. So mental health is everything. Non tamen factum est.
There we go. Jeff, thank you so much for being a guest on this podcast today, and for being a cool guy and a good collaborator and storyteller. And I can't wait to have you back on, making even more interesting NPCs.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Sidekicks and Side Quests. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast through Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Amazon Music, Overcast, or YouTube, or feel free to save the RSS feed to use the app or player of your choice. Visit our website, sidekicksandsidequests.com, for links, write-ups of the NPCs, and to learn more about the show and the guests who have been on it. To stay up to date and interact via social media, you can follow the podcast on Facebook, Instagram/Threads, Twitter/X, and Reddit by searching for Side KQ Podcast. You can also find our small Discord community as well online. I would love to talk D&D and showcase your fan art, stories of how you used our NPCs, discussions, and commentary. And hey, if you'd like to hail the bard and send me a message, an email, you can do so by communicating with sidekicksandsidequests@gmail.com. To help this show be the resource it's meant to be, I ask that you leave a review on iTunes, 5 stars, please, to help spread the word and share our podcast with your friends and family. Whether you're a veteran player or an aspiring dungeon master, there's something here for everyone, and I want to hear about it. As mentioned in the NPC creations section of the podcast, I do in fact have a Patreon for Sidekicks and Sidequests. If you love this podcast and what we're trying to do here, I would appreciate it if you would just go to the website, patreon.com/sidekicks and sidequests. No matter your lifestyle expenses, we have wonderful rewards at every level of Patreon membership tier. Modest, comfortable, wealthy, and aristocratic accommodations await, and we welcome all patrons to the Levitating Platter. Seriously, your financial support allows for this passion project to continue to invest in itself through the tools that will take our production to the next level, as well as provide more content for our patrons and the community at large. please consider supporting me on Patreon if you can.
Sidekicks and Sidequests is unofficial fan content permitted under the fan content policy.
Meaning I'm not approved or endorsed by Wizards.
Portions of the materials used are property of Wizards of the Coast.
Copyright Wizards of the Coast,
LLC.
Thank you for your support, and I'll see you at the pub next time.
Bar to rock on 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.